Alright, welcome back ladies and ladies with ducks. If you're wondering why the intro sounds a tad bit different, don't blame me. Blame the yellow giant piss stain that Neil decided to give me as his first action as CEO. And Neil, I'm not too familiar with their background, but in my culture, we don't really get down on our knees and suck the other party's dick as a welcoming gesture. So, I mean, I appreciate your efforts, Neil, but, you know, I mean, we can do better. So I'm sure we all heard the cliche scenario of blaring a boombox out your crush's window to win over her love, which I already find kind of unsettling from the get-go. I mean, imagine you're walking up to Shawty's window, blasting in the hills, thinking about a score, but the whole time her mother's just in the room putting her clothes away. So it might be a slight cause for concern and destined for failure already, but how about viciously harassing a woman so much it becomes almost your full-time job to the point where you show up to her job and force her to listen to your absolutely horrendous music? I mean, every time this guy sings, it sounds like he has a chip clip attached to his nutsack. Having your music be so catastrophically awful, you cause her to run outside of her own workplace 4 hours before her shift ends, and then proceeding to chase her down a few blocks and then calling the cops because you felt threatened by the girl's father for telling you to leave his kid alone.
You're a fucking idiot.
Well, that's what this crust-covered queef that looks like he asked his barber to cut his hair off with his fucking teeth. I thought that would be the perfect idea. Not only that, if you didn't think that was bad enough, he had the audacity to record the whole entire discussion he had with the police for his own safety, even though he probably also simultaneously caused a random woman to start boarding up her windows like she's on Resident Evil just to escape his sight. Then he went along to continue to tell the police that the woman he just chased should do porn, and it's just so disgusting. So this dove of love goes by the name of Jacob Yerkes. So it's no surprise he's a perseverer of love at Alliance Insurance Company, whatever the hell that means. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say he meant life. But with this guy, judging by looks, he might have been throwing chemsex orgies in the State Farm office for all we know. Like a good stalker, you won't know I'm there. But if that wasn't impressive enough, that was just his side hustle. That was just pocket scraps filth, because he's also more honorably a doughboy at Little Caesars. So I probably should have warned you ladies to bring a spare pair of panties, because I'm sure you're blowing out like a fire hydrant seeing this apex of sex. I mean, who the hell wouldn't barf? Your sad excuse of a beard looks like a dirty-ass mud-stained colonial scarf. And if what I said so far doesn't show this man is about his bread, even though the most bread he's ever dealt with was at Little Caesars and it's still untreated yeast infection, so not to be rude, but you will absolutely see no woman nude because you resemble the face of a crippled caveman while at the same time getting your hair done at St. Jude's. But if that didn't have you gushing and blushing, he's also an inspiring artist that is trying his best to stay inside his hood because his music is an actual health hazard. Every time I listen to one of his songs, I leave feeling dazed, confused, schizophrenic, and I quite possibly even have mesothelioma because this guy's vocals sound like something that would be ripped right out of MK Ultra. And that's not all. His top hit single that was knocking the shit off the shelves with the sales was a song titled Don't Grab Her by the Coochie. You know, that's something I like to call versatility. I'm expecting this to bump like a Master P track. So without any further ado, let's take a listen to what this man calls a masterpiece.
Fire sprout to the moon to the top and grow!
Yeah, no wonder why she ran away, bro. God, I have never heard a song being played on 00's signature before. It sounds like Crazy Dave whenever his ass runs out of lawnmowers. It's like I'm listening to a special needs kid trying to make a grilled cheese out of a fucking toaster, and the mic quality makes it seem like this bitch's pop filter is a damn wubble bubble ball. But obviously we're dealing with a generational talent here, so with his newfound quest for his love with music, he wanted to search for a love with a woman he's recently been conveniently stalking. So why not combine the two and do it at the one place everybody wants to be hit on at, which is their own job. So without further ado, let's watch this limp cock looking Ewok upload his criminal charges on TikTok in grand fashion.
And I was going to play a song for a woman that I kind of like, and I got there and she saw me and she immediately pulled away, and I wasn't forcing her to listen or anything, you know. I just wanted to play the song for her, you know, give her her own choice if she wanted to be with me.
Yeah, she did make that choice. Not only did she make it, she made it evidently clear. She was flailing her arms in the air, screaming for help, running desperately out into the streets. My bad, I kind of squawked right there. I thought that would be a clearer than a glass-ass reason to find out she's not interested in you, but I forgot this guy learned all he needed to know about women from Alpha Course sign-up plans and 4chan, which we instantly know is a guide to make every girl you come across absolutely afraid of you. I always see certain Alpha courses talking about love is animalistic, and a beast man should always embrace the beast that's inside of him. And I guess this guy just really took it to heart because this motherfucker charged at her like a disabled grizzly bear that's drunk off of tranquilizers. Yeah, just very romantic. You can almost see the cop almost let a tear out from it.
Does she know you?
Yeah, I worked with her there for like 5-6 months.
Did y'all have a relationship?
Yep, see, when reality actually sets in with this guy, he goes dead silent. God, it's just so terrifying to think how delusional people can be that they just simulate a whole entire relationship with somebody off the dome, completely in their own imagination. Overused, but it sort of reminds me of the Joker when he randomly walked into the bitch's crib because he thought they'd been married for 2 years, and I think he even gave the random baby in there a raspberry too. Like, this guy is almost on that level. Like, I bet this woman has probably said a handful of sentences to this guy, none of them probably outside of their workplace. Probably just gave him commands to do his job, but he made sure to do everything with a smile on his face and a boner in his pants, which is typical cuckery behavior. I bet he would take $5 off his hourly if he was allowed to stand by her window and fog it up with his breath at night. Like, it's just a sad reality.
But anyways, I pulled up there, and I was in the other parking lot, and I saw her get in her car, and I was like, oh shoot, it's my moment. So I pulled up there next to her, and she pulled away from me, and so I chased her a little bit, just because I don't know, women are crazy. Like,
I mean, yeah, I'm just convinced this man learned all of his love life from Animal Planet, because what in the high-flying Timbuk fuck kind of explanation was that? That shit sounded like something that would have been ripped. That shit sounded like something that would have been ripped out of. That shit sounded like something that would have been ripped. That shit sounded like something. That shit sounded like something that would have been ripped right out of Elliot Rodgers' manifesto. Yeah, women are the crazy ones, man, because every guy uses his penis like a signal tower to attract every woman within a 5-mile radius. I mean, he's acting like his millimeter defeater got a damn Bluetooth signal on it, because this guy isn't used to being at a 4. He's usually stuck at a 1.
women are crazy. Like, I felt like she like wanted me to chase
Do you
her.
not think chasing somebody's crazy?
Well, it's just like I only went like a couple blocks down the street.
You know, you would have had me worried there if you made it to the highway. Thank God you only stopped at a couple blocks. You know, he was probably following her singing a certified triple tinfoil award level music. I mean, hell, the only label you'll ever be signed to is Autism Speak. Personally, I think you have the voice of an angel, but if that very same angel was being pushed into a wood chipper, your songs sound like an audio representation of the swamps of Dagobah, or a recorded voice of somebody being tortured in the Brazen Bowl. So of course anybody would try to escape your deafening screeches you let out in your songs. And to about every other man on the planet, they wouldn't put themselves into that predicament like you, so it would be apparent to stop, but you run like the Beverly clock and dangle around your cock during every hour of the day, thinking you have a chance with this woman when it takes her 10 seconds just for her to remember your first name. You are an extra in her life, somebody that is blurred in the background. You hold no value or importance, and yet here you are with Dorito crumbs under your pits and expired milk drooping off of your man tits, explaining to the cops on why your love language is stalking.
Just saying, don't you think chasing somebody's crazy when they obviously don't want to?
Well, I had my song playing, and I wanted to like her to hear it maybe.
You know, there always was a quote that flew around that said, we become what we think about, and I believe you can use that for good or bad. It's just the way you go about it. This guy is a prime example of what not to do with confidence. Matter of fact, you really can't get any worse than this guy without it involving a first-degree felony, so this should be a motivator for any single men out there that are worried about not finding the picture-perfect person. Secretly taking pictures and following them around will ensure that you will never find it, you fucking creep. I ain't here to build lives, bitch. I'm here to destroy them. The only tears I have coming out for this guy is straight yellow.
You don't want to hear it, right? So what else happened? Let's get on with the story.
Well, anyways, her father called me up, and he made some threats to me and to my life.
Okay.
And so I just want to have his name on file.
What did he say to you?
I think he said he's gonna stab me, like, but he's like cussing at me.
So his father did what any good father would do in that scenario, and this guy actually still believes that everybody around him are the delusional ones? It's like we just keep going right back to square one, ground zero with this guy. You say one thing in his ear and watch the wind fly out the other. Matter of fact, I'm convinced if you put this man's braid in a bird, that shit would fly diagonally. That's how you really know a motherfucker should belong in the ward, is when basic English is the most complicated thing for them to understand. Because if I was a cop, I would have been playing a game of Operation with my taser in his asshole by now.
He said that, or he did say that?
He says, I'm gonna do something to you. I swear I do something to you.
For chasing his daughter?
Yeah, I highly doubt this guy raised around his fist like a Looney Tunes character going, why I oughta, you're easy pickings, pal. Touch my daughter and you're stirring for a bruising. No, he was probably breaking down the math on how many years a 5.56 would shave off your life. And rightfully so, I commend him for that, honestly. You are quite literally threatening his daughter's safety to the point where he even knows of your existence by just following her like a Fast and Furious scene and blaring your abstractingly anal music. And then the worst part is, he's so insecure and such a genuine puss, he calls the police on the girl's father for his own safety? Like, are we even living on the same dimension at this point? I know your forehead is on a completely different aspect ratio from the rest of your body. My man is out here built like he on Southpaw settings. No.
Yeah, but it wasn't chasing. It was like going down a couple streets. Like, that's like fun to women. Like, women like that. A little bit of excitement.
No, they don't. Women don't like to be chased.
You know you messed up when you got a cop disagreeing with you before they even put the cuffs on. You could just tell this guy was really putting in his all and trying to understand with all his might a word that this pot-smoking, gold-selling pawn shop out of Detroit leprechaun-looking ass bitch was saying, but he just couldn't. I feel like this is what your average fresh and fit listener thinks like on a daily basis, because now did he not only justify stalking, but now he's explaining the fun about it like it's a Sunday hobby. Oh yeah, man, I love stalking. Oh my god, the bush, the van, a garbage can, anything that'll fit becomes my plan. Like, yeah, dude, I hate to break it to you, but you are a legitimate psychopath and should be administrated into Arkham Asylum immediately, because with this type of logic, you are definitely showing the basic signs to be a runner-up for the next Charles Manson with an attitude like that.
What about, like,
If I was a
porn?
father, I'd probably tell you the same thing.
What about, like, BDSM porn where women like to have fantasies?
Well, apparently this girl doesn't.
Well, who knows?
Wow, this guy is just shooting at us like rapid fire. I feel like I'm on an episode of Domesticated Family Feud, because this man just pretty much did a speed run of why he should be arrested. And he even made sure to follow up his thesis with 2 pieces of evidence. Like, he had this planned out from the bottom up. It's like this entire scenario is a game to, but one of those really bad interactive mobile games where the choices make no absolute sense. Like, would you rather violate a woman or touch a woman without consent? The choice is yours. Like, every decision this guy makes is just a bad decision, but he doesn't realize it. He thinks what he is doing is the right, the American way. If I want a bad bitch, I gotta chase the bad bitch. Jared Fogle or something.
Most women do like having rape fantasies.
Okay, do you think she does?
I don't know. But
Apparently she don't.
This guy baffled me so much already that I forgot to even address what he said in the first place, like I even need to. But you know, I'm not exactly a woman, so maybe I can't speak for all, but the last time I checked, women don't get out of bed every day wishing they get forcefully put back onto it. See, the splitting difference between your splitting hairline and having a hard time understanding is that BDSM is consensual. They're doing that with the person they want to do it with. That's kind of the whole point of sex in the first place. But you're just a feral flat-lung clump of foreskin that believes you can just stick your meat in any hole like you're playing a game of whack-a-mole, and that's the right way of approaching women to you. When in reality, it's the right way of approaching me. Hit my line, shawty. You can follow me back to my house. I got some stuff that you.
Oh, so what do you want us to do?
well, I just want you to get his name on file, just in case he does do anything to me.
Do you know his name?
I know his daughter's name.
What do you know his name?
I know her name. I don't know his name.
Then why did you call? Hey officer, can you arrest this unidentified man that I have absolutely zero idea of what his name is or any recollection of what he looks like? Thanks. Well, I'll be on my happy trail as my work here is done. Tell all them boys in the blue down at the station drinks will be on me this weekend. Fine, Megan can come too.
He called me from a restricted phone number.
Okay. Here's my suggestion. Leave her alone.
Well, this was one song I made, and this was the...
You know, I never thought a musician would be such a broken record. This guy talks about his music like it's a religion we should all harmonize over. And sure, I can bet all the boys in the Clue are turning up to your Caucasian classic, but your music is absolutely terrible to the public's eye, and scarily, this guy's music is the least concerning thing about him. Because he's still pitching about his music like he's waiting for all 4 chairs to spin around like he's on The Voice or some shit. I'm surprised he hasn't handed the cop a damn CD by now. It's scary to think that your already manic music is the only thing on your mind throughout all of this, and that's what I think makes him more deplorable. He doesn't care about the situation at all, and it's to the point where he's catching up with 12 about it like it's something he saw in the Sunday paper. It's just asinine.
Alone.
Okay.
Fathers will hurt you over their daughters.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is she needs to have her own free will, man. You gotta understand, I'm a man myself, bro, and I have needs myself.
I'm a young man myself, bro, and I need myself. I mean, that's up there with Socrates, really. Now we know where he gets these aspiring lyrics for these songs from. It all stems from his poetic mind. Also, again, she did choose her free will, Jacob. Her will was to run until the fucking cows came home and never look back, and that's exactly what she did. Her free will was contacting her dad, because that's actually a man that can protect her, not a creep that'll just prey on her like you do.
Choosing her free will by telling her daddy what happened to you, and I'm telling you, stay away from her because he will hurt you probably.
She's being controlled by him.
That's fine. That's her choice, right? Free
Well,
choice, free will.
I think she should go do porn.
Yeah, just when you think he can't say anything worse or horrible, he always makes sure to deliver more unwanted, awful, and disgusting news. He just pulled that out of his red rosy ass because that literally came from absolutely nowhere. This guy is like a horny zombie. The only thing on his mind is intercourse. And it's gotten so bad to the point where he can't even keep a conversation in front of the Department of Law without objectifying her, and then you act surprised when the officers tell you to leave her alone because you said it was legal. The hell they gotta do with anything? You know, I hope she wouldn't be underage on top of that too, or I'll catch your ass on another series pretty damn soon. So defeated and his dick depleted, he waddled back to his car broken on how the girl of his dreams found out that he existed. But you might be thinking that that was all. He went home and never talked about the woman again and everybody lived happily ever after. No, that's the exact opposite of what happened. This motherfucker was hitting the Michael Jackson toes talking about how he's sick of these hoes on his way back to the car. He couldn't even hold his thoughts in for 5 seconds. He was threatening his dad as soon as he hopped in, even though that was the exact reason why he called the cops in the first place. But I'll let let this man choke on his own spit and swallow a fly in front of your very own eyes so you can really grasp how psychotic this man is.
Yeah. You know what? Lindsay's dad, I hope you see this fucking video.
This guy is such an incel. He started posing like he was in a Sigma edit as soon as he hopped in the whip. His ass hit a whole handsome Squidward pose and then proceeded his words without caution. At least give us a warning before you're gonna deliver a jump scare by showing your face. Came out here snapping at us like a fucked up crocodile off the water files. No wonder she was running red lights.
You know what happens when women don't ever, you know, come to terms with themselves? Bad shit happens.
So he ended up getting arrested for aggravated stalking, I think as soon as he left the parking lot. In all honesty, the cops probably laughed at each other before getting back in the car and turning their lights on. Shortly after this video was released, he was thankfully locked away before Haggard could cause more terror to the grounds of Hogwarts. I mean, his beard looks like it was ripped right out of Yosemite Sam's ballsack, so obviously if he can't groom one way, he's gonna try to groom the other, and that's what we witnessed here. He later ended up apologizing, but that went as well as you'd expect any other apology to go on the internet, where they say everything but sorry. There were a lot of red flags before this video too, especially his old tweets, but I think it's a valuable lesson to learn in all of this is if your crush doesn't know you exist, don't keep it that way secretly. It's kind of weird, and when you do approach her, actually have a normal conversation, not try to play your super hot mixtape from Sex Sal Studios, where you recorded yourself murdering somebody inside of a sewer tunnel off of a walkie-talkie. Just have a normal conversation to the woman. You really are what you think, and what you think is what you will become. For example, this guy, complete cooch repellent, but that's because he spent years putting crusty tissues he plastered all over his floor, and he thought that was going to get him anywhere in life, and look where that got him. Common sense isn't something that's too normal or common anymore in general, so having a conversation with a woman is something in the past for an alarming amount of people now. They think you can just get a woman in their basement without actually getting to know them, and it's quite pathetic. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to slap a like before your dad slaps you, subscribe to Hit My Vibe, and follow all my socials, links down below, especially my Instagram. I love to reach out and connect with y'all, so shoot your shot, and who knows, you might get a text back. But with that being said, I'll see y'all next week. I got a date I gotta
My brother just another me. They wanna like fuck the clout. We don't think we in it. We don't think we out of. Yo, my brother just another me. Yo, hey, yo.